Yeah,
Have
I
you?
mean, I'm apprehend. I do want to rewatch it, as in like as much because I think it was a really interesting game, but I haven't like mustered up the courage yet to actually watch it properly. I mean, I saw obviously some of the highlights and stuff, and it's just yeah, tough one, man, tough one to take. It was.
That's it, man. It's a somber episode 10 with Aaron and myself, Sim, trying to go over the hard, difficult to take Wednesday night affair with Paris Saint-Germain in Paris. That means we're out of the Champions League semi-final, and I think as we tried to preview, this is a make or break game really for the season. How you view the season, if it was a success, if it wasn't, and unfortunately, we've got ourselves into the version of the pod that we didn't wanna that we didn't
Yeah,
want to do, and that's it.
the
Yeah.
reassessment of the season, kind of, at this point, which we were hoping we'd be able to kind of postpone until the 31st, and then have that real kind of that conversation. Yeah, man, it's unfortunate. Now we're gonna have to start thinking about like emotionally and you know kind of what's the word more kind of a word I'm looking for really. It's like there's the emotional side of it, the rational. That's it. The rational kind of
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
rational kind of feedback about the season against the emotional feedback, and I think that would be good to have that conversation. I think a little bit today. I think we'll probably be able to have it more
It's
clarity on.
it's inevitable in some respects because the things that we didn't do well in the game, you can't help but look back at some of the choices that were made. Again, looking back at the previous transfer windows, etc., and could we have those four chances that we had at the beginning of the game, had someone been able to put them away, we would have been having a very different pod. But that in of itself is a canon event, my friend. So yeah, well, let's go through the game. I argue I've struggled to watch anything in particular because I think it's been too painful. A combination of being angry and then sad. I didn't need it. I didn't need it anymore, man. I just needed to put it away for a little while, but. Unfortunately, a lot of the game is still very raw and fresh in my mind, despite my best efforts to ignore the pain. Um, yeah. So how did you think I don't think there was any surprises in the lineup.
How did you set up for it? That's really interesting. That's what I want to know because I think if you ask every Arsenal fan who was watching it on that day, I'm sure we
Yeah.
all had our different like rituals and we all had our different kind of
Oh, just in general, like how? Yeah, yeah. I get you. Okay, I understand. Yeah.
yeah, like what was your setup like? So obviously, I guess it's 8 p.m. kickoff. At what point did you start to get nervous?
You know what? Weirdly I completely blanked it out. I don't know if with age I'm getting better with just ignoring it and just because again, I think I used to feel it a lot more when we used to actually religiously watch like Sky Sports and stuff, and you would want to watch the pre-game and get the opinions of the pundits, and that would build you up in so many different ways, right? But now I just dislike watching any of that stuff anyway. So I find that into the minute I'm turning it on, which is a minute before kickoff, or maybe 5 minutes if I just want to see them walking out and hear the Champions League music or whatever. I just do my best, level-headed best to ignore it. I think the only point that I actually felt, a little bit like I was thinking about it more than I had been, let's say, prior to other than the pod that we did, the preview pod, was when you see the team news come out. And again, I wasn't necessarily surprised. The only difference, I suppose, in my watching conditions was I went to go and watch it at our cousin's house, Hemmet's. So he and I and my dad and your mama, Uncle Swarren, we were all sitting there getting ready to watch it. So I guess that was a bit different, just being back at home, sitting with everybody. Um, I did have a little. This is really stupid, but I did have a bit of a nagging, like, what's the word, superstitious feel. There haven't been that many games at him that we've watched together and that we've won. Typically, we typically get together for the big games, obviously, because that's when you do go over and say. But even when we watch like crap games, we somehow contrived to like lose or draw. And I only really started thinking about that after we missed like our third or fourth chance. I was like, ah, shit, hang on, maybe the juju's wrong here, man. So that's the only, I guess, kind of. I didn't have any very much nervousness. I honestly feel like the pods help because I feel like we talk a lot of our feelings out there and we're not internalizing them the whole way through. So I don't again like I didn't really think about it, but then yeah, I suppose some of the different aspects contrived to make it feel different. What about you? How was your feeling throughout the day and then prior to the game?
I mean, like I said, like similar to you, I kind of block it out. Obviously, I'm aware of it being at the end of the day, and I was at work, so I was like, okay, cool, I'll finish work, and then once I finish work, I'll have to do a few things. I was just a bit busy, and then I just basically didn't have time to get nervous about it until I kind of sat down, and when I sat down about 15 minutes before the game. So basically just let everyone know that, like when it comes to these Arsenal games, I get like really, really nervous. Like I can't even eat. Like I don't eat, I just can't eat. Like I'm just drinking water constantly. Like I'm really thirsty. No matter how much water I drink, my mouth's dry. I'm shivering, but I'm also sweating at the same time. Like it's like I have like a crazy parasympathetic kind of reaction
A
to.
really visceral reaction.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. My whole body just starts going off like it's crazy. So, and the thing is, like, it's weird, man, because people are gonna say I'm like, oh, you're a crap supporter, and you're not supporting the boys, whatever. But I never really feel like we're gonna win. You know what I mean? Like, I never really feel like, oh, like we'll do it today, you know. So, like, I'm always just expecting it to not go well. So that's why I feel so anxious because I'm like,
One of the great proverbs in life, my friend. It's plan for the worst, hope for the best.
yeah,
And
I'm sitting there and it's
so,
like 5 minutes before the game, and then they start walking out, and obviously you look at the PSG tifo, which just absolutely destroys our attempt at what we did, the fireworks and the crowd, and I'm like, you know what, like this is serious, like this is serious now. And then what they do is, and then they go through the line, right, of the players. I mean, they put the camera on them and they go through it, and I wouldn't say that players look scared. I wouldn't say they look scared, but there was a distinct difference between like players who were like, okay, this is a big game, and then players who were just gagging to get out there because they just can't wait to play that level. So one of the guys that looked like that was Declan Rice. Like Declan Rice just like he could not wait to start the game. He just like, man, I'm built to be here, and like I just cannot wait. So when I saw him, funny enough, I calmed down. I was like, you know what? He looks on it. And if he looks on it, and Timber looks on it, and Saliba looks on it, yeah, and even Odegaard to a certain extent, I was like, even Odegaard,
everybody's gassed, man. Everybody's like focused, right?
I
They're
want to
in.
say they look
Yeah.
like they look like they believe that they can go there and they can turn this team over. So when I saw them, I started to feel a bit better. I was like, okay, let's see what you got. And then obviously, I feel we'll talk about. Sorry, I'm literally still recovering from Wednesday night. Like it was so draining. Like having to get up to work the next day, awful, man, fucking awful. But
Can't sleep. That's
it was
it.
just terrible. I
Yeah.
fucking needed to go to sleep. It was crazy, man. Like I was so drained by the end of that game. Like I went to bed straight away, and I was like, got up in the morning, and generally I've never, man, I've gone to work like after a big night out before, yeah, and I've been way more physically tired than I was, but I've never been as emotionally and mentally tired as I was on
Exhausted.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was
Yeah.
just done, man. I was done. Like just the whole season came crashing down in front of me, and yeah, we'll talk about it in a second about what how I felt about the externals. But yeah, let's talk about the game. And then we started, and the game started, So and I'm sure we can all agree we were pretty phenomenal for about 10 minutes.
I mean, that's probably one of the best I've seen us play all year, right? Like, if you think about just how the quality of the opposition that we were against and how we were able to pull together an electrifying start, to the extent of which you could see fear in the PSG players' face. Like, they didn't know what was hitting them. I
They
think
couldn't
they
get
were
past the halfway line. They
they,
couldn't.
they couldn't. They literally couldn't. The way that we pinned them in their own half, and how quickly all of our players were closing theirs down and not giving them an opportunity to breathe was actually phenomenal. If we could play like that against some of the more the mediocre teams and just kill them, yeah, we would have won a lot more trophies. I guess we can't play like that every week, but yeah, that was exactly the kind of start that we needed, and we managed to actually pull it off in a way. But except for scoring a goal, which was
No.
the crucial aspect to it. And I think all of us, anybody I've spoken to since, felt if we didn't score that goal, if we didn't score in those first 10 minutes, we're not going to win this game.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's kind of unfortunately how it transpired, right? So, which of the chances did you really feel like had the best opportunity to go in? Like you really felt like
I feel
that's
like
the one
the
that
the Odegaard one, it happened so quickly.
an unreal save, crazy save.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean, it's a snapshot. Like I get it. Like you got to,
it's a good
but
save. It's a great save, and it's down quick and everything. Yeah,
yeah,
but I'm sorry, man. Like you got to put that in the corner, man. You got to put that in one of the corners.
You're still not you're still not giving him that's a good enough shot,
Nah,
man.
I can't. I can't. Basically for me, like the way I saw it was when that happened, I just thought, you know what, man? I was like, Odegaard, man, like you just can't catch a break. Like,
No, he can't catch a break. That's for sure the case.
because
Yeah.
that goes in the whole narrative around the last 5, 6, 12 weeks of your performances changes. Smash it. Everyone talking about you can't shoot. You smash in a pile driver like you did against Newcastle on the edge of the Champions League semi-final. We're back on level terms, and Gigi Donnarumma is just, obviously it's a fantastic save. Don't get me wrong, right? You put it this way: you put it 1 or 2 yards
Mm.
to the
Just a little bit more.
and
Yeah.
it's a goal. And it's a goal.
It's a goal. It's a
And I
goal.
get it. I get it. He had to hit it through a crowd of players. He got it through. I get it. But like, I'm just trying to be as open and as real as possible. When I watch it back, I just think, man, can you not try and find a corner there? Because if you do, it's a
Mm.
goal. If you do, if you do, if it's a goal, you do, it's a goal, right? Like, and I think that was the chance that really, when it didn't go in, obviously, and then Donnarumma is very smart, right? Acting like he's hurt his hand just to really
No,
kill the.
oh, dude, that I think that was actually genius, right?
Of
Like,
course,
yeah,
of course.
you knew your
You
team's
went
under
for
the
a corner.
cosh.
You went for a corner.
You need to release the pressure gauge.
He went
Like,
for a
just
corner, right? And he's
exactly,
smart because
yeah,
he knows if I go down with an injury, I don't have to go off the pitch because I'm a goalkeeper.
yeah,
Right. So
precisely.
again, and like, let's be
Gives
honest.
everybody a chance to reset on a corner. They know that they're not that as good at defending them either. Arsenal are dangerous, and
That's
then
what I'm saying.
everybody
That's
gets a
smart.
chance to breathe. Yeah, yeah.
Very smart. And it just gave him a chance to beat. So that was mine. What about yours?
Yeah, I mean, just yawn it through, bro.
I'm
um,
so tired.
I look, yeah, I can see what you're saying about Odegaard. I reckon, I still think it's a bit harsh. I still give a lot, like crazy credit to Donnarumma just because the amount of bodies it went through and he still managed to get down as quickly as he did. Again, on the stronger side, all three of his big saves have all come on his left-hand side
I don't know though.
across the two legs,
I
you
don't know
know.
to be fair. That I don't know. We'll talk about it. That save from Saka.
Oh, yes, true. That
Fuck
save from
me,
Saka
bro.
was outrageous. Yeah,
Fuck
I agree.
me.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
any keeper, any other keeper
That's insane. Yeah,
who's
correct.
not like 6'7", mate,
Yeah,
that's
what
a
the
goal.
hell?
That's a
Yeah, that's a
fucking
goal.
goal.
Yeah, it's a crazy save. It's also a crazy save. It's fingertips as well. But anyway, we can get to the second half in a bit because that was so peak. But yeah, I think the Declan Rice opportunity,
Header.
that header, that's crazy. Like you get
Headers are
that, you
hard.
no, I get it. It's hard, but you see how close it was. If it's just that little bit more inside the post, you know what I mean? Like
It's
I think it's just
contested as well. It's contested. It's a contested header, and it's
oh
like,
no, he's done everything right. I think it was just not so much that could anybody have done better. I don't necessarily think so. I just felt like, you know, if it was on target, the goalkeeper's not saving it. Whereas like the Odegaard one, the Odegaard one, yeah, he did save it, so case in point. But I just think there was no chance he was getting to that if it was on target. Like no way. But the Saka on his right foot, no. Yeah, it came across.
might have been Timber. It could have been Timber,
Yeah, maybe actually. Yeah, I might have to. I might have to.
and it was like, I mean, it's one of those things where like it happens so quickly. You're waiting for the net to bulge.
Yeah.
It doesn't. You're like, fuck, like,
Yeah, it felt like it was in slow motion, right? Well, in some respects, yeah, exactly. As you're watching it back,
yeah.
it is, yeah, but you're
And then you're
right. You're
waiting for it,
so
and you're
right.
like, wait, where did it go? And then you're like, oh my god. And then you just, yeah, headers are very difficult. But what did you think about the Martinelli chance?
Yeah, man. So I
Yeah,
was just looking back at yeah, it was Timber. It was Timber with a really good ball in. Actually, I thought Timber was excellent, by the way. I thought he had a
oh yeah.
fantastic
Oh, I
game.
mean,
Yeah.
he literally, other than that one shot, Kavici yeah, sorry,
Kavicha
Kavici
Kvaratskhelia.
Kvaratskhelia he was locked up, man. He had him in prison
Yeah.
the whole game.
He had him in prison. He really did. He really did. The Martinelli chance is wild, isn't it? I'm just watching it again as well. Like, so you got Thomas Partey, one of the only long. It was the first long throwing, and it was the one that caught him the most off guard.
Yeah,
And he comes rifling in on
Rice.
his left peg. Rice misses the ball. Basically, I'm sure if he had actually got it, it probably would have gone in. And then Martinelli hits the ball into the ground, and Donnarumma with a reflex save. I think it's kind of right at him, so I kind of expect him to sort of make that save, but it happens pretty quickly. Um, but then again, you're just saying to Martinelli, bro, just hit it any side of him, and it's a goal. Even like high
Yeah,
up, like
this is
even hit it higher, it
yeah.
would go in, right? But
Again, we just weren't getting the ball to drop for us in any single leg. Like in both legs, the ball just was not dropping in the areas we needed to drop, right? And like, so obviously, okay, let's talk about those three chances, right? So it's first 10 minutes, we have those three chances. We start very, very well, yeah.
Yeah, that Odegaard, the Odegaard chance is 7 minutes, seven minutes 15 seconds, right? So he's, like we have literally battered them for the
But
first for the
let me ask you a
just
question.
not even 10 minutes, like
Okay,
8 minutes. We've got
let
three
me ask,
clear cut chances.
let me ask a question now, right? Of those chances that we've had, so if we've looked at all three now, you've watched all three. How many, in your opinion, are actually good quality chances? You like, I think zero. I don't think any of those chances are actually good quality, sustainable chances. And what I mean by that is, okay, we know headers are very statistically very hard to score, right? Especially contested headers in the box like that. Do I think he could have done better? Yeah, but he's got a good head on it. It's just gone wide fine. Yeah. The Martinelli one is a long throw into the box. It just falls to him. He kind of gets a foot and it goes. And again, the Odegaard chance is very similar. Long throw into the box, comes to the edge of the box, he shoots, right? How many good quality chances did we actually create in that period? I don't think any. I don't think we created any good quality shots in the box, if that makes sense, like balanced. Like, so for example, if we compare it to Martinelli in the first leg and Trossard in the first leg, I don't think any of their chances are even close to being as good as those two chances, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd sort of have to agree. They're more in that half 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 chance ish sort of territory,
Chaos is
right?
the
Yeah.
word, right? Low
Yeah, it's a bit of chaos, a bit of like, sort of comes off some could randomly come off someone's arse and still find its way in kind of thing. Whereas, yeah, the Trossard and Martinelli chance in the first leg,
those are
they
more we've created in my opinion. It's like, okay, you've built some possession, you've turned them around, you've played a nice ball through. The attacker is balanced in the box, he's balanced taking a shot, he forces a save. That, in my opinion, that is a good quality sustainable chance.
and we've broken them down as well, right?
Yeah.
That's through sustained possession. It's about us, as you say, we're unpicking them. There's none of this. Whereas I felt like there was a bit of the chaos factor in the first leg, wasn't there? And the second leg, sorry, where it was because of the sheer momentum and the pressure that we were putting them under that they were basically buckling, making a lot of errors themselves, giving the ball away, and we were forcing the transition super, super, super quickly. And that in itself, I think, to your point, yeah, it's a fair shout. They're more, let's say, three-quarter chances. I wouldn't say
Yeah,
half chances. They're more three-quarter chances. But the other ones in the first leg were, yeah, first, yeah, so definitely.
and I think so. They were talking about this in the Arsenal Vision podcast, and Tim Stillman made a good point where he basically said that, like, they had an electric 15, 20 minutes in the first leg and they scored. We
Yes,
had an
yes, they
an
did.
electric
The one main chance that they had, they scored off
and,
of it.
and we didn't.
Yeah,
We
we
didn't. And
didn't.
that is basically the tale of the two legs, because what happens is they take advantage of the time when they're on top and we don't. It's really funny because Sim, of my wife Sim, like that's probably that the Real Madrid game and this game are the two first ties which she's really got invested in Arsenal. So
No,
she's
yeah,
really, like, sitting there feeling it and really feeling the emotion there, right?
yeah.
So she's watching it with us, and obviously she's like getting frustrated because we're not getting a chance, right? And then it's funny because there was two wives watching it, and there was like me and my friend and obviously his wife, and then one of my other friends were there, and we're the football guys. We watch football, and then like they don't, So they're like, oh, no, no, they're playing very, very well. Like, like they're creating loads of chances. Like, they're gonna score surely. And I'm like, yeah, nah, man. I was like, when you miss
You
this
could see
these
it.
chances,
Yeah.
it's not your night, man. Like, it's not
Now
your
you know.
like
Yeah, yeah.
you just start to feel like, it's just not going to be our day today, man. Like, when you're missing those ones, because then obviously they go down the other end and they have that chance where
All right.
Kvaratskhelia, sorry, he smacks it off the post,
Yeah.
and that's done.
And first chance, and that's all it was. It was the only chance that they had in six legs. That 16 minutes in, we battered them. We still haven't scored. They have one chance, and
Yeah,
they've smashed it off the post.
yeah,
And it's just a warning. It's just like
but that can happen.
we're we're way more ruthless and efficient than you are, and that's the reality, right? Like I think, and then you look at the person who scored the second goal, Hakimi. It's your right back who's there on the left side of the box, and he's the one who's curling it into the bottom
Yeah.
left hand corner.
So
Yeah,
this is why, for me, fundamentally, I just do not respect the XG stat. I don't respect it because they are going to go and sit there and tell me that the three chances that we had are higher XG than that one chance in our box. When in my opinion, he's now taking a controlled shot on his stronger foot with only one guy in front of him in our box.
yeah,
That's a good chance. Like,
yeah.
if Trossard gets that exact same chance, we're probably scoring two.
Mhm.
If Martinelli gets that exact same chance in the middle of the box on his stronger foot, on his right foot, with one player in front of him, we're probably going to get a very
He's
good shot.
probably missing. But yes, to be real,
He's probably
Mm,
smashing it straight at the fucking defender.
yeah, it's coming.
But,
It's somehow coming off his shin. But
but
yeah,
do you understand what I'm saying?
yeah. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, completely. I
That
get
is
it. Yeah.
obviously we can talk about how he got there. Fucking, Thomas Partey being just an oaf, mate. Like you're just an idiot, bro. Like, come on, man. Like, what are you doing, man? Like, just you won the ball. Like, I get it's fatigue. I get you're tired. I get it, man. But bro, you won the
On the
ball.
ball. Yeah,
Just
yeah,
deal
exactly.
with it, bro. Just
Yeah, just
deal
deal
with
with
the
it.
problem.
And then and that sort of leads us up, right? So we haven't taken our chances, and then we allow PSG to settle back into the game to get a bit of a foothold. Clearly, we must be a bit tired. Like
You
it's
have to
quite
be.
evident.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
you got to
hard to
be.
get that.
Yeah, and that's actually not. It's sort of the Jurgen Klopp-esque of playing football. That sort of rock and roll sort of football, right? Where they, that Liverpool of that era used to just batter you for 20 minutes or so, and they will score
Score
three
like every game.
goals and
Yeah.
score 3 goals, and that's it. But if they didn't, that was it. It was fair game then. Anybody would be able to get a chance until they manage to catch a breather, and they'll come back and do it in the
Come back and
first,
do it. Give it another 20 minutes.
but another 20 minutes in the second half, right? And I think, to be honest, it's in the manner that we had played, the way that Arteta set up his team and what he wanted us to do is evident as to at the points at which we faded and when we conceded goals. And that's exactly what happens when Thomas Partey heads the ball out from a situation which was kind of a little bit avoidable. Like it is avoidable.
Terrible
You
header,
see,
bro. A terrible header.
yeah, one terrible header,
Straight
but
away. I said it
but
straight
also
away.
but going back to the free kick. How's the free kick given? Why is the free kick given? Right, it's one of the very few. I don't know if you can completely blame
I
it on
remember. I
Rice.
remember Declan Rice, and he gets a yellow for it as well, which is hilarious.
He gets a yeah. It was a bit of a harsh yellow, to be honest. I don't. There was no malintent, and I don't think there was
Slip.
any. There was
You
there
just
was
slip.
no.
You just slip.
Yeah, exactly. You just slipped. You just slipped, and but that's the reality, right? You've made a mistake, and again, they've managed to capitalize on the one mistake that we made, and then yeah. So like, it's you got to deal with the header better. I kind of wish, and like we can get talk about Fabian Ruiz's technique in a second. I was him and I were joking. I was like, oh man, I love playing with Fabio Ruiz in FIFA with Napoli. Like, and he goes, yeah, he's totally your player, man. He's so techie. He's like that sort of no pace, but just really good in midfield. And I was like, yeah, gassing him up. What does he do? He scores about 3 seconds later.
Fortunate though. Fortunate goal that was.
Yeah, it comes off Saliba's midriff.
Massively. Massively as well.
Massively. And a lot of people didn't call it. I said it straight away. I was like,
Yeah. It looks
that's a deflection, that is.
it looks like it because I think it goes in the side fucking netting, in it. Like again, how unlucky can you get, man?
If it doesn't actually hit anybody, I think Raya's saving it.
Oh, he saves it
Um, oh,
or if it's Leroy properly and it goes wide.
yeah,
You know?
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not even like a glancing deflection that will help it nestle into
It's
the corner.
straight off the thing,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. And it's going to go somewhere else, and it just happens to go exactly where it has to go. And then this is the thing, right? Even criticizing the quality of the chances that we had, and like Martinelli one as an example, we just didn't get the rub of the green. Like
Mm.
that little bit of something that you just need, and just like I said to you, come off someone's arse and somehow goes in. This comes off Saliba's midriff. He's done the right thing. He's tried to go quickly and close down the shot,
He's turned his body. I don't
but
know why he's turning his body. I don't get it.
it's an
The
instantaneous
reflex,
reaction, is it not? It's a reflex. Yeah,
like you're
yeah.
a defender, bro.
Just take it. Just take it.
Why you all you've done there is reduce the space in which you can block the shot. You
Yeah.
closed your body off, as in you've closed that angle, and it means that now he has more of the goal to shoot at. Why don't you just stand there, put your hand behind your back with your 6'3" fucking frame and your massive chest, yeah, and your huge head, and just take that wherever it hits you. Like just smash that, and because in that way you're
Just
not
own
going.
it. Just firm it. Yeah.
Not going in, and I think he'll know that. I think he'll look back and be like, "Fuck, man, why did I turn? Like, why did
No,
I have more of it? I have more of a criticism of again the part he had that pisses me off, right? Because he did the same thing when he was playing right back against Newcastle away from home.
yeah, he did. He did. Yeah.
He heads it into he basically heads it
He
back into the danger area.
and he does that sort of header right that someone who like in kids football when kids
Yeah,
just don't know how to head the ball.
yeah. He puts
It
no
just sort
power
of
on
is
it.
kind of like
Always
yeah,
takes
it's like
it goes off.
the ball hits you rather than you heading the ball, like the sort of like frying pan kind of effect where it just goes straight up in the air. It's like when you're playing tennis and you don't know how to play tennis and just
Yeah.
smash it.
So we know, like in those situations, your clearance, for example, if it's a goalkeeper, you parry it. You don't parry it back into danger. You head it away, or you parry it away from the goal. Just head it back away from you, bro. It's gonna go out for a corner, or it's gonna go out for like a cross over there. Then you can readjust and restabilize. Why are you
Yeah,
heading it to the edge of your own box? It doesn't make
yeah.
any. And again, these are small little details that at the top level,
They'll punish you for. They'll punish
will
you
be
for it.
punished, man. And even
Yeah.
then, talking about top level, you probably be punished for that in the Premier League
hmm
nowadays. You know?
Yeah, no, 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 for sure you would be. I mean, look
Yeah,
at the quality across
yeah.
the league,
So,
right? I mean,
so
we've
we need
been
to
we've been
sit
we've been
down.
getting asses handed to us by every
This
mid
is
level
it.
club so
This
far,
is
right?
it. And I think we sit there and sometimes we complain about, oh, woe is us. Like, why do teams always kind of score shitty chances against us, but we can't score any good chances against them? It is always to do with the recruitment and the players that you have on the pitch. Yeah.
Hmm.
When you have good players on the pitch and you have good quality forwards, sometimes they just will the ball into the net, man. They literally will just be like, I'm gonna it, people talk about, like you said, rubber the green and maybe the ball falling and stuff like that. When you're confident in how you strike a football,
No, you make your luck at the
you
end of
make
the
your
day, right? You
luck.
make your luck. Yeah,
We're
exactly.
not
If you
confident. We're not confident in how we strike footballs. We're not confident in the ball
No
dropping in the
one rifles the ball in our team, actually. If you
yeah,
generate, other than Rice against Real Madrid, where he absolutely whacked both of those free kicks, and they were, well hit
yeah,
shots.
yeah. But they're
I
dead
can't
balls.
actually,
They're dead.
that's the thing. Yeah, yeah, it's easier to do in aspect, right?
Yeah,
Because it's not
because you're
moving. But
balanced, right? Because
yeah,
like this is what it all comes back to the point that I made about when you break down our chances in the first half and pretty much up until that Saka chance at the end, how many good quality balanced shots have we taken in the box? And the answer is basically none.
none.
You
No,
know,
everything's just sort of a, yeah. Again, it's a half, three-quarter chance, really,
and
isn't
now
it? It's
yeah.
never.
And now look
Yeah.
back, right? And now let's look back on the great teams in Europe, right? And namely, for example, let's talk about Barcelona, right? Let's just talk about them for a second and about the multitude of goals. See Pedro, Suarez, Neymar, Iniesta, Xavi even used to score, right? And think about the goals they would score. They weren't smacking these balls off balance and shit like that, man. And
No, no, no.
like skimming it into the top corner and heading it and hitting it. No, the ball was cut back to them. They're balanced. They're happy in their shape. They know exactly where their body is, and they're striking it. They're passing it into the net. They're turning and cracking it. They're not
Well,
being
because you're creating the space for yourself in order to be able to
yeah,
do that, right? And
yeah.
that's intelligent football. And I
You
think,
do it by moving the ball quickly, right? You do it by
yeah, yeah, of course,
not doing what
yeah,
we do, which is
it's pod.
basically, and my biggest criticism of someone like Odegaard, right? Again, and Party is very similar to this.
Mm.
Too many touches on the ball in midfield before you do the thing you were going to do anyway.
Yes, yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. It takes you too long, and then it's always often my criticism of Rice when he's playing at the six. He takes too many touches. Marino when he's playing at eight takes too many touches. Everything's just too slow. And then yeah, you don't buy yourself time. You don't buy yourself time. You don't give yourself the opportunity, or
Yeah,
yeah, to
and you don't give the next guy an opportunity
yeah, exactly, of course.
take the ball with time because by the time you take a touch, shape, look, shape, take another touch, they already know, okay, cool, the ball's going
Mm.
over there.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
we need to now get in that position and get steady for that. So that's my biggest concern from the whole tie and really this whole season and really our football since probably 2022 23 is that we, in my opinion, do not create opportunities and space enough around our forwards for them to have balanced, relaxed shots on the ball. And I get it. This is high level football. I'm not asking for 5 6 seconds, right? I'm
You're never
asking
going to get it.
one and a
Even
half.
two. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I'm
Yes.
asking for one touch, balance goal. One touch, balance shoot. Not one touch, oh, someone's on you. Oh, one touch, oh, you got to head the ball. Oh, one touch, you got to cross the ball. No, because, and people don't understand, like, they think that one extra touch that someone takes doesn't make a difference. It fucking does,
It
man.
makes every difference.
Every
I
difference.
mean, it's what you learn. It's what you learn when in kids football. Like when you're learning to play football, is what's the reason why you take a touch to set yourself?
And
It's
then,
because you need to set yourself.
yeah.
It's very rare. There's an odd few players in the world who, with zero backlift and the ball coming at them, can strike it and hit it clean wherever they need to.
And it's
But
like
even
fucking
then,
Ronaldo and Ibrahimovic and those
yeah, yeah,
guys
exactly.
like
Yeah, just
fucking mad yoga and Pilates like 24/7, right? Because
yeah, just freaks of
whole
nature
body.
essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just the
yeah, yeah,
absolute freak athletes, like guys who, no matter what position they're in, they can somehow keep their shots down and on target, right? Even
yeah,
like Canalogu, for example, for Inter.
yeah, yeah.
Somehow the
Exactly.
man, no matter what position he's in, he somehow manages to get a shot on goal. Or like Lautaro Martinez. Like there's certain players, like Sanchez was like that. It didn't matter
Sanchez
what.
was exactly like that. Zero backlift, nothing, didn't even. But then again, you say that though. But also, if you look at the majority of Sanchez's goals, and that was the time when he was playing with Özil, and Özil was one of the best at being able to give the next player the time and space that they need in order for them to be able to make their shot happen. Was he would have an opportunity to set himself. Okay, he still didn't need that much backlift, but most of the time he would set himself because that's going to increase the probability in your chances of scoring, right? And that's ultimately what you want to do. And that's what Fabian Ruiz had the opportunity to do, going back to the actual goal and
Takes a
goal
chance
at hand,
to
right?
press,
Martinelli's going at 100 miles per hour. He's just,
bro.
you don't, yeah,
Like it
exactly.
just kills me, bro. Like
It's the
what are
taxi of
you
all taxis.
like? What are you doing? Like in that position, isn't this is the second? This is the second thing I want to criticize.
Yeah.
As he takes that touch, right? He doesn't do it like very quickly. You know where it's going, bro. I'm sorry. This is a Champions League semi-final. You cannot let that ball go by you,
No, no,
and
no.
not in a way.
You got to make an intervention.
You
You've
got
got
to
to
do
do
something,
something
right?
that's going to
Even
stop
if it
him. Yeah.
fucking hits you, even if it fucking hits your like shoulder or something like that,
Hmm.
or it hits your head, you need to just make sure that if he's gonna get the ball through you, he's not getting it in a way that he can even turn his body because you've knocked
You
him.
can't even shape to shoot.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yes.
your
Yeah.
priority should be he's not getting a shot off, not I want to win the ball. Do you get me?
No. Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Because that's frustrating. It's
Yeah,
frustrating.
no, it's killer. It's killer, and that's it, right? I think all it's another sucker punch, as it was in the first leg, where we had the atmosphere, we had the energy in the stadium, and we weren't able to utilize it, and that was the first sucker punch. The team had generated their own energy, their own momentum. Uh, they didn't take their chances, and they have well, the Kvaratskhelia one is a great chance. Kind of came out of nowhere, and arguably this one was the same too. Kind of came out of nowhere, and they took it, and that was it. And then all of a sudden, I think the players generally didn't respond badly, but you knew that Paris Saint Germain, being an elite football club, and the way that Luis Enrique has built his team is so good, is that they knew, okay, now we need to reset ourselves. We need to get control of the ball, and we need to make sure that we're not going to concede another goal very quickly, because that's the most vulnerable time, right? As we saw against Real Madrid in the second leg, that's the point of where you can always concede a quick goal, and they didn't let that happen, and we go into half time, don't we? Really, with a lot to do and a bit of a mountain to climb.
How did you
And
feel? How did you feel? Obviously, when we came out at halftime, it's a bit of a blur for me to be honest with you. But how did you
Mhm.
feel we responded kind of in the second half? Like when we came out, did you think there was any tactical changes that we made, or did you think we kind of stuck to the same plan for the most part?
Yeah, as in, I'm just thinking back. I'm looking back to it now. I mean, the only big chance that we had comes in the 63rd minute with that crazy save by Donnarumma. I think it felt like, and maybe you've noticed something, and because you've taken in a little bit more content, you've captured something that I haven't had the opportunity of seeing yet. But it was, I think if I were Arteta and I was looking at the first 10 minutes of the game, I'd probably be saying, well, let's recreate that in the second half and do that again. But hopefully we can try and get another goal, get that goal that we deserve, right?
Yeah,
Um, and then you come up against a world class goalkeeper in Donnarumma, who makes an
maybe you should,
insane save, and
maybe you should just watch that chance again. Like that is
yeah,
fucking ridiculous, man.
unreal save, crazy save,
So, so
and
ridiculous.
that's what we also what we didn't have. Like, I don't think Raya did anything bad in either of the two legs. I think he was fine. It's just he's just not 6 foot. He's not 6 foot 5. He's not 6'5", 6'6". You know.
Unfortunately, unfortunately for Raya, as much as I do like the guy, I've been saying this for about like years, man, years now.
Yeah, yeah. No, since we've had him, you've been saying he's not big enough.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, and
Of
this
course.
is you know I wish I wish we were recording pods back then because I could I could literally clip it and quote it and put it online.
Quote myself and just be like,
Yeah,
here, look
so
at me.
I said this exact same thing. This is what I said. I said you'll get away with having a small keeper at times in the Premier League, and you might be okay, blah blah. But in the Champions League semi-final stage and the
High
finals and
margins, high
quarterfinals,
margin.
when your keeper is just big and he just gets to things because literally he's just big, you will look back at your keeper and think, yeah, this is why we need a tall keeper. And it sounds really reductive, right? To say, oh, you need to be tall to be a keeper. Listen, there's certain things that Raya's just not getting to. I don't care how good his reflexes are, and it's proven this leg, right? So one example I like to always highlight is Courtois against Man City. I think it was 2 seasons ago
Hmm.
uh, basically just won them the game, right? And then he won them the final against Liverpool because he was just outrageous. But in that game specifically, when Man City were like 2-1 up in the at 89th minute or something like that, and Grealish has a chance to basically win it, and the only reason Courtois saves it is because he's just so fucking long.
Just massive.
Gets it, and it just goes wide. Otherwise, Man City are going through, right? They're going through to the final of the Champions League the year before they won it against Inter. And I said it then again. I was like, listen, man, he only gets there because he's just a big guy. And this is the problem with, unfortunately, having a small keeper is Porto last season, he doesn't get to it.
Yes.
He's small.
Yeah.
Dembele this season, he doesn't get to it because he's small. Hoyson or whatever his name is against
Dean
Bournemouth,
Housen. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
doesn't get to it because
To
he's
get to
too
it.
small.
Too
Yeah.
small. Yeah.
Again, Fabian Ruiz doesn't get to it because he's too small. So unfortunately, we're great at reducing the amount of shots that we have on goal because our defense is so good.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
sometimes, do you
But
not
when they
think?
get it, it's
Yeah,
going to go in the places that the keeper can't bloody save
and this
it.
is it.
Yeah, I agree.
We look back on Raul Jimenez against Fulham
Mhm.
away from home this season.
Yeah.
Aya basically just doesn't get down quick enough because he does this stuck in the mud saving technique that he has where he just instead of instead of moving his whole body towards it, he tries to drop down quickly.
And swivel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and when you're when you're not doing it quick enough and you're not getting down quick enough, you're gonna concede goals, and this is why we complain. You think, well, why does every shot we concede go in?
Go in. Yeah. Because
I
the
mean, I do
keeper should
like,
be.
and I think he's a
Yeah.
great keeper, but how good of a shot stopper is he?
That's the reality, right? Like I think there was a one Bradley Barcola chance, but again, I think a crazy intervention from Declan Rice is still just going a little bit back to the first half, and then enables Raya to be able to make the save. But that's just Rice being an absolute elite baller as he is, and flying all the way back to make sure that he can challenge Barcola. But yeah, you're right. I felt that in a lot very recently, even in the games in the Premier League, as you even referenced with Dean Housen and Raul Jimenez, etc. You can't help but wonder if he was even 2-3 inches taller and he had a as
The
as
wingspan.
reference the larger wingspan as a result of being taller, he might have got his hand to some of those things, and that is the difference between us being
In the
in a
final.
final and maybe being just only 3-4 points off Liverpool going into the game on Sunday. Do you know what I mean? Because he might have been able to save those. I know he's crucial to the way that we play, obviously as well in terms of a build up from a build up perspective. But I think as long as you're just proficient enough as
Mm,
being a ball playing goalkeeper, like still, Neuer has the height. Yeah, he can play really well with the ball at his feet. Allison has the height. Allison's, I'd say still probably the best goalkeeper in the world,
yeah.
and he can do that. Courtois not amazing with the ball at his feet, but that's why your centre halves and your midfielders drop in to be able to collect the ball and enable you to be able to do that, right? And the fact is, and the same principle goes with Donnarumma. Donnaruma's not great with the ball at his feet. He's okay, but it's enough for them to be able to pass the ball out from the back and be able to build attacks. So I think there is something to be considered with that a little bit, and if there is an improvement to be made on Raya in some way.
And this is the thing, the funny thing you said that. So just as you were saying that, I decided to Google Joan Garcia, a keeper that we're from Espanyol. Okay, so he's 6'3", and Raya's only 6 foot. Yeah, so
That's
he's
why.
he's 1.89. He's 1.91 meters, and he's 6'3". I am 1.90. So he's
Okay.
1 centimeter taller than
Fine.
me.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's big. He's big. So, and I think again, maybe this is the reason why this is maybe again. Don't get me wrong. I don't really want to sit there and talk about how many effing goalkeepers and centre backs and left backs and right backs and defensive midfielders we have.
Indeed.
We need another goalkeeper apparently. But,
So I think, man,
man.
we're not gonna sign another striker. We're gonna sign another goalkeeper this summer,
This
and
is
it's
it.
just
And I'm not
it's just
and I'm not
it's
on
just
here
killer.
by a hate sesh.
No,
Like this is not what I'm on.
no, not at all, not at all.
It's unfortunately if we have to look and think about what if we have to pinpoint what went wrong, because I personally don't sit there and think I can sit there and criticize our football team for this tie. I'm not gonna sit there and be like, oh, this went wrong, that went wrong, this was terrible. I don't think we were that bad. I
Yeah,
actually think I will sit there and I'll tell you that I honestly sit there and think, and I'll be clown for this. I genuinely think that we were the better team in terms of we were the better team between the boxes in
that's what
both games.
Arteta said. Arteta said exactly that, right? I think, and he's got a lot of hate, and I know that you were keeping up
He
with the
always does.
socials in terms of yeah, he's always going to get hate for that. But no, I agree, and I think that's what actually made it a little bit more painful for me to go look back on. Like it wasn't as if that we were comprehensively bad. Like if we were just bad and just shit the whole game, then fair enough. Then you'd have been like, you know what? I can probably watch this with a little bit more. You can remove yourself from the situation in some respects and be like, okay, yeah, we didn't deserve
We can
it.
be like, we're not that level. We can sit there and be like, we're not the level.
Yeah, we're not at that level. We're not ready. We're not ready to be there. And I think actually that's the reason why it hurts more. It hurts more because you knew that you had a real credible chance of being able to win this game, and we played so well. And again, it is true. Like everything that we've spoken about, if we break it down now into a few key segments, it's the goalkeeper's not a few inches taller. It's we're not getting the best kind of ball striking ability in when we make those opportunities, and we're not getting enough of those shots on target, and it's they're tiny things. Yeah,
Those are
it's
the
it's
hardest
these
things to
tiny
fix,
margins.
though.
The
I thought,
hardest thing, no, it's the 80-20 rule, man. Or at this point, it's like the 95-5 rule for us.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Because I think, again, we can't help but existentialize about the season a little bit here, and we won't try and do too much of it. But it's just, I think that's ultimately what Arteta has to look at this summer, right? And this is his lot. Whilst some other Arsenal fans would say it's crazy, I think he's going to get the money that he needs most likely. If he
mm,
cannot get past that five,
mm,
and we're still looking at being nearly men again, I think
mm.
you really then have to say, well, are you capable of being able to find the thing that's needed? You've spent so much money already, right? So
Yeah, and I'm not going to sit here and just do it like just sit there and act like there's a referendum on who Arteta is and his manager. But at the end of the day, let's say again we'll talk about the game finish the game off because I think there's only a few things to talk about in a second. But let's say we go into next season, right, and we have this same problem. Okay, that's basically going to be and okay, let's say we challenge because I expect us to challenge. If we don't challenge, then mate, he's definitely gone. Let's say we challenge, we don't do it. That's going to be 4 seasons then,
in
which
a
you've been
row,
in a
yeah.
row, and you haven't got it done. And eventually, players are not going to be happy because they're going to be
No, of
like,
course.
this guy doesn't understand how to do it, right? So yeah, you're right, man. I think we'll do a proper, really good episode on like who
Yeah,
the.
we need to break it down. But well, finishing off the game then, and the next big opportunity, obviously, we speak about the Saka chance at 63
It's a
minutes
penalty,
in.
isn't it?
Then it's the penalty afterwards, right?
Yeah,
Crazy, crazy decision.
it's the rule, though, isn't it?
Again, it's one of them, right? But just have a bit of. I don't like sending him to the screen again. I don't want to. I don't. I just. I can't with VAR.
Yeah, it's the rule, though. I get it, man. It's the rule in the Champions League. Apparently, the rule in Champions League is if a goalward bound shot hits an arm
Yeah.
outside the body, it's a penalty. And I get it, man. Like it's shit, and no one wants to see that shit. But one thing I will always
Listen,
say in football and in life, yeah, and in sports is the ball. I screamed this at the TV when Raya saved it. Is that the ball don't lie, man? The ball
no
don't.
karma. The universe always corrects itself.
Yeah, it knew that was not justice. Like
And you've almost like Vitinha did the worst penalty run up in history
he did it
because
against
he
Allison, and he should have missed then. He's
he
like,
should have missed that. No, he was so lucky. He was so lucky because Allison got a hand to it, didn't he?
yeah, he did.
Yeah, he
His
did.
own goal.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Just crazy. I felt like he almost no one. It was a bit similar to when we missed the penalty against Real Madrid, right? The Marino challenge was like no other Arsenal player called for it. No one asked for it.
Oh, yeah, we
No one
missed a
saw it.
penalty. We did. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did. Yeah, we missed the penalty, right? Yeah, exactly. It feels so long ago now, but we missed that penalty, and it kind of felt like, in some respects, some level of divine retribution because no one really wanted the penalty. No one wanted to win like that as well with a penalty in that way.
Yeah, no one.
So
Again, even with like Hakimi doesn't appeal for it. So do
no,
you
I
know
don't
what?
even think they realize. They don't even realize why they were awarded the
No.
penalty in the first
And
place.
let me
Most
ask
of
you a
them.
really interesting question, right? So that was directly after we
We
had
just missed that chance.
we had a penalty challenge.
Oh yes, 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 yes,
What did you
yes,
think
yes.
about that, man? I didn't see. I didn't get to see that again. I thought it was penalty. I thought we should have a penalty there.
And again, I need to. As in, now I vaguely remember what you're referencing. Let me just see if I can find it because that is.
I don't know if they're gonna on the highlights that I'm watching. I don't know if they just fast forward. Yeah, they just fast forward straight to when Hakimi has the ball. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I personally think it's a penalty, man. Like I don't know why no one's really talking about it. Kvaratskhelia basically goes to nick the ball away from Saka. Saka rolls it like away from him, and then he just crashes straight into his knee. Like I just don't see how that's not a penalty. And that's at 1-0, man. That's at
that's at
1-0.
1-0. True, and that would have completely changed the.
Changing, yeah, it's
Mm,
game changing that is. And like again, I'm not going to sit here and harp on about referees and stuff, right? I do think for the most part he officiated the game quite well.
pretty well. Yeah, he let a lot of things go, which the referee in the first leg didn't.
Yeah,
Like
he was
he
fucking terrible. That guy should never be anywhere close to a fucking Champions League
obviously
knockout,
semi-final,
knockout
the
game ever
knockout game.
again
Yeah, yeah.
because he is honestly garbage. Yeah, I just felt like I don't know, man. I thought it was a penalty, but I guess maybe not.
I don't know if I don't know if they just think that because again, it's really hard when you see things slow down, right? I think that is the contact heavy enough at the speed at which it's happening actually in order to be able to knock him down, or is he all sort of almost looking for it?
Mm,
And this is the problem. Again, all of this stuff is so subjective. I think with the Lewis Skelly one, and this is again like anybody who's ever played football in their life, that involuntary hand movement as you're moving at speed and then you're
yeah,
like trying to adjust your body as someone's sitting the ball. I can totally see myself doing that. Like
Yeah, of
I know
course.
that will happen. It almost feels, and this is the thing, a slight divergence. Arsene Wenger talking about clear daylight between the players now for an
Mm,
offside. I'm
mm.
like hallelujah. Like that is actually the right sort of thing that we should be talking about in terms of improving the spectacle of football, because you're talking like, as we saw with the Marino goal, even though it's like half of his body is offside, but that's you're killing any opportunity for us to see goals happen in the game any longer.
Yeah,
Um,
they're trying to
and
make it really, really difficult, isn't it?
yeah, it's just it's becoming like tennis, right? You're looking like Hawkeye stuff in order, but that's not what football is, right? Like offside was invented to stop people from goal hanging. It's not someone who is in line,
Mm.
essentially in line with a defender. Your body part, you could be 3 inches, 4 inches taller than the person, have slightly longer arms. So that all of a sudden means that, oh, okay, I need to, as a human being, need to play completely differently in order for me to be able to keep on side. And this is the thing, like, yeah, yeah. I don't know, and I'm hopeful that things like even that a handball call like that will now be looked at and used as a reference to say, you know what, we can't be given handball for things like this, because that's just, it's like, what can you do?
I don't know, man. I just feel like UEFA have they've just made this their law, and they're just gonna carry on with it because they're just like, you know what, it is what it is, and we at least have this kind of definitive, then no arguments, sort of,
There's no grey area stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I mean,
guess
this
so.
is the thing. I
I
think
guess so.
players are gonna, unfortunately, just gonna have to adjust to that rule and start defending with their arms behind their backs, right? Because I think the Premier League did something very similar. Remember when they were like
They tried to, yeah.
a few games like they do every fucking season. They're like, oh, let's just
Season, some new rule, yeah.
make sure we penalize
Oh,
Arsenal.
Arsenal get done over for it,
Make sure
exactly.
we penalize Arsenal so everyone can fucking see what we tried, and then after that we'll forget about it.
uh,
And then I think then even they kind of realized this is getting a bit silly now because like this is what I think is the referee should obviously go to the screen and be like, that's just natural. I'm not
This
gonna.
that's what I'm saying, right? Why are you sending the guy to the screen? Like, now, guaranteed, if a ref gets sent to a screen, that the decision, he's gonna overturn whatever decision he's get. Like, and it, so and that's weird. That's really stupid. Like, I think the only referee
I
who
remember.
I give Real Madrid, give him
Yeah,
massive props for away at the Bernabeu, he looked at his own decision, was like, nah, I messed up there. I'm gonna change it. I was like, you know what? You got stones on you, dude. Fair enough. Like,
because he
you
doesn't care.
actually
Because he
used the
don't.
tech.
Because he
Yeah,
was like, you
it's
know
not
what?
about him. It's not
About him.
about him. It's not
It's
about him. Michael Oliver, it's not about you. Like, it's not about any of
not
these
about the
referees. It's
referee.
it's
It only
not.
becomes,
It's
it only
not.
becomes about you when you do intentionally dumb shit constantly, and this is the problem, right? That's what they don't understand. The best referees are referees that we don't know the names of.
Exactly. Exactly. The only referee I've ever truly known the name of, because he was on the front of Pro Evolution Soccer 6, was
But yeah,
Pierre Luigi Collina.
that's it.
Because
What a
he
legend.
was insane referee. Like, he's like the godfather of all referees. And that's fine. You're allowed one of them, like a pope, once in a generation. But beyond that, you should never know who they are. And the fact that we all do now is horrific. But anyway, so Vitinha misses it. You think that's going to give us the energy and the momentum necessary in order for us to go and find that goal. And then what happens? Thomas Partey happens, Hakimi happens, and then
It's
it feels
typical
like
fucking
it's
Arsenal. It's
just,
typical fucking Arsenal, isn't it? Like oh,
yeah, the sucker punch happens again. Yeah,
and I said it to everyone I was sitting next to. I said, oh
it's
yeah, we'll
gonna.
see the penalty, but we'll concede soon. Watch, and we
Yeah,
did.
watch.
But
Yeah,
but
we
you know what
did.
it is? If we go back from that, right? If we go back from that actual chance and we look at what actually happens, and I'm gonna look at it in a second. I'm pretty
Hmm.
sure Odegaard loses the ball, trying to
Yes, he
hold
does.
it
He
off.
does. No. And he plays, and it's almost like, and I'm just trying to see who puts on the pressure. You don't really get too much of the pre-build up. Yeah, he's definitely lost the ball there, and
Yeah, he lost it
he's put it.
centrally, and then it
He's
goes.
lost it. He's kind of lost it centrally. Is it? I don't know if it's Kvaratskhelia who basically puts on a bit of pressure to him, and then he ends up just playing it. It goes into the direction of Party. Party still has time to deal with it. I don't know why he's trying to slow mo juggle the ball between his feet at the edge of his area. Like,
Catalog of errors as per usual with Arsenal. That's
yeah, again,
it's not
yeah,
just
and it's
it's not just one error.
unforced errors. It's unforced
Yeah,
errors that
it's not just
lead
one. It's
to,
like one,
like,
two,
yeah.
three, four. Then you fucking concede, and you're like, well, what the fuck do you expect? Like,
Also, like, why is so the only person who actually goes, like, they Dembele's allowed, literally allowed to, like, just turn, pass the ball nicely into Hakimi, and the only person who then is going to close down Hakimi is Saliba, who's the furthest person away beyond Odegaard. But Kivior just stands and just stands. He doesn't even try to, like, close down the space.
it's because he's watching. It's because again, as we said, ball watching, right? They're ball watching. because
Ball
because
watching,
because
exactly.
they're not
Yeah.
they're not being proactive in their defending. They're ball watching.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it, right? And I think everything from that point onwards, Trossard, as always, is looks way better when he comes off the bench and he can make an impact. I think a lot of us recognise that, and I'm sure, unfortunately, he realises it as well to an extent. But he came on and actually looked a little bit lively. It was the only substitution that made sense. Um, until and yeah, he helps make the goal, and we're still a goal down. I can understand to an extent Arteta's hesitancy to change things so early, but then particularly it took Hakimi scoring for us to make a proactive substitution. And that's the crazy thing, right? Like Luis Enrique has got this game in the bag. Yeah, he's practically in control, and he's still bringing on players like Dembele. Do you know what I mean? Like that is he understood, and then even later on in the game, he brings on Gonzalo Ramos and players like this, even though he's winning comfortably by 2 goals, and he's still looking to try and find another goal because he realizes that it's the thing that wins your games is goals, and nothing will give you a better breathing space than scoring more goals against your opponent. So I found it bizarre that again Arteta waited so long, and in fact he had to wait for us to concede to bring on Trossard. Trossard looked lively. He did well in order to be able to get the ball, bring the ball under control, beat his man, and then get the ball into the box in a dangerous area for Saka to do something with. And it was one of those situations. I know we spoke about the rub of the green, and good players actually make their own luck. And Saka kind of does that because he gets himself in the right place. He makes himself a nuisance between the defender and Donnarumma. Um, and it bounces up and bobbles in front of him, and he manages to get the goal that we need. But it's too little, too late, right? It's just not enough at the time that we needed it.
But the thing is, like the thing you mentioned about Trossard, which is fantastic, because I do think he was very, very good when he came on, right? Do you know what was really interesting about the? I just want to walk back on that a second. I feel like Arteta, for some reason, because there's always this kind of like when everyone's fit, everyone, I guess, like when we have Marino or Havertz or whatever,
Yeah,
centre midfielder, he wants to play up front, it's usually then a debate between who plays Martinelli or Trossard.
yes.
And I feel like he always manages to just get it wrong. You know what I mean?
Of who's the right player in the right moment to
Yeah,
play,
yeah.
right?
I
Yeah,
feel
he
like
always picks the other one.
I feel like he plays the
So right,
one, and then they
so true.
start, and you're like, I'm not having a good
Yeah,
game. And
he's
then you
not.
put the
He's
other one,
not.
and
He's
the
shit
other one
today.
starts killing it, and you're like, fuck me, you should have played that guy instead. And that's how I felt with Trossard in this game. I was like, because I don't know if you think about Martinelli, right? I don't know if remember this. He fucking rinses Hakimi like 3 times in the first
Three
like.
times, yeah, yeah, and he takes it. He does that thing where, again, it's so painful that he can't beat. And we spoke about this in the last pod. He can't beat anybody on his right foot.
This is
Or I
always his
think
left
it.
foot, and then he tries it
Yeah,
again. And Hakimi locks him up because he's like, cool, I know what you're gonna do now, so I'm just not gonna let you do that again.
and that's it. So your second superpower that you have, I've already locked up your first one because everybody's locked up your first one. So I'm gonna lock that up, and that's the end. That's the end of your game, man. Like you haven't
And
got
Trossard
anything
was
else.
good. Like you said,
Yeah,
Trossard was very, very was good when he came on, but and like you said,
because there's a directness to his play. I mean, it was funny that they were saying it. I don't know which pod I was listening to, but they were speaking about how how much he whinges and moans when he doesn't get selected to start.
I mean,
So he, I think he,
I've said that he's just a
I'd be the
soul.
same. Yeah, he's just sulker, but he comes on vexed, which is like, which if he did that when he started, just like Michael Jordan just used to basically just like make up narratives in his own head about people. Someone said something to me. No
Yeah,
one said anything to you,
that's
bro.
it.
But he knows he needs to get himself in that state of mind. Just be vexed like all the time, and don't be gassed about starting. Just be mad, and you're going to be an insane footballer. But yeah, anyway, he makes the goal.
And it's funny,
And
the goal we score. It's like the guy basically had to fucking fall off and fall down underneath himself, and then leave an open goal for us to score. And only then do you score, and you're like, okay, fine, we scored. And I'm like, okay, that was very fortunate to be honest with you. Like, it wasn't really something that we created. But then you see the next chance is the big one.
that's the big one. And so, credit to, I want to give another shout out to him here because one thing he just said to me, and I was trying to discredit him as one older brother does to a younger brother, basically. He was like, Calafiori's got that X factor, man. We should have played him. And maybe Lewis Skelly was struggling a little bit throughout the game as well. I noticed, yeah.
He started really well, and then he started looking like an 18-year-old, which is fine, which is absolutely
Which
fine.
is
But
fine, and he's played a lot of minutes, and I think everybody at that point is also like just
yeah,
just just
so
just like
my biggest concern, my biggest issue and again, this is just young players, right? This is my biggest issue with young players, especially young players who are strong, because Saka used to do this as well. Is that once they're strong and they've proven to everyone they're strong, They want to constantly show off that they're strong all the time. And
Yeah, I
it's
know what you
like,
mean.
we get it. You can hold people off, and we get it. You're strong. You
But you
don't
can't
need.
always do that. You
Yeah,
can't always do that.
you
Can't
should
always.
never even be trying to do that unless you have to, right?
Exactly. It's a get out of jail free card, and you
That's it.
can do it once or twice in a game. But
Yeah.
it ain't. It isn't. If you have
Right.
four players around you, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, they're gonna get
Oh, yeah,
it.
or even if, like, for example, like this is one of the, again, mild criticisms I have of his game, and this is not only his Paris, this is against, a few other teams as well. It's the ball might be coming over his head, and I guess as a left back, you're a centre mid playing left back, you're not used to dropping into space like that, and then having to deal with it with someone on your back. Because Barcola is very, very, very fast, man, very
Yeah,
fast. You
super
don't even
quick.
deal with it. Faster than Miles, which is fine because Barcola is quick, he's a sprinter. The ball is there to be dealt with, but you're more concerned with the guy on your back. And it's like, if you actually just deal with the ball, you don't have to worry about that guy because you can
Yeah,
see it in front of you. What you're trying to do is you're trying to hold him off and then deal with it. And you don't need to do that. Just get to it and deal with it. And there's one moment in the center of midfield where Partey's kind of in front of him, and all he has to do is just pass it. Just pass it. Just touch it.
pass it. Just do what you need to do in football, and quite often it's the best thing. You let the ball do the work.
That's it. Get rid
That's
of the
the
ball.
point.
Move the ball.
Just pass the ball.
Unfortunately,
Move the
again,
ball.
I get it. You're tired, and things when you're tired, and we know this. We play football. When you're tired and you're fatigued, you feel like you need to get everything under control, stabilize yourself before you can do the action you need to do because you're
Yeah,
so fucking knackered. And the thing is, you do that, and inadvertently you fuck yourself over because then you end up holding on to the ball too long. So I think the
exactly.
mild criticism I'd have with him is just the fact that I think he just needs to start dealing with situations before the situations deal with him. And it's a criticism of Kyrgios sometimes as well, which and I also think was fantastic. I thought he was really, really good, really, really good. He's learned now. I'm not gonna let
You have
this.
to be Yeah, you got to be proactive.
You have to
Yeah,
be, as a defender. You have to be proactive. You have to say the ball is there. I'm managing that situation. I'm not gonna let the external factors around me affect my management of this. You've got the ball there. That's your concern. Play it. But yeah, I mean, he was still pretty good in my opinion, but just not perfect.
So yeah, so again, to him as credit, he was like Calafiori, man. He's got the X factor, and he came on and he actually started making a bit of a nuisance of himself, and he was good. He was good. I mean, considering that was the first bit of football he's played in 3 months, 2 months, 3 months, 2 months, give or take. Some was last international break in March, right? Straight away after, yeah, exactly. No, he got injured at the international break, but playing for Italy, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, like
Uh,
that was the same one that Gabriel got. Like, as in
yeah,
Gabriel
it was the same. It was the same
came
break.
on.
Yes, true,
So
true, true,
it's when we
true.
played Fulham, and that's the game that you went to, and that was like
Yeah,
midweek Tuesday. I think it was like April
yeah.
2nd. So he got injured basically like a month and a bit ago.
Yeah, a month and a bit ago, and so yeah, whilst it's still a little bit left to be desired in terms of the way I think he's capable of defending as a fullback, which he isn't, and we've spoken about that before as well. I
Not
think
now,
again,
but we'll see in it.
yeah, we'll see, and if he gets to manage to get a few games under his belt. But again, he has this kind of unpredictable nature. He can go inside with the ball. He can go on the outside with the ball, and he's got a really good delivery, and that's what he ends up doing. But
Yeah.
then yeah, Saka, the ball. I don't know. Like, do I have sympathy with Saka? Am I going to be like crazy harsh and be super vexed about the fact that he should be still getting it on target? I think I'm somewhere in the middle. You
He should
see
be.
the ball bounce up.
He should be
You
scoring.
do see that. As I can see why he missed it, but
So good enough.
if
So good
you're an elite football player, you
enough.
should be getting on
He
target,
had,
man. Like
he had
even
his
on your weaker foot.
Sterling versus Leon moment, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah.
And
Literally,
I,
he
and
did.
like, and I don't listen. With all due respect to Raheem Sterling, like great player, I don't want him to have the same European history as Raheem Sterling because
Yeah. Yeah.
Raheem Sterling has missed some big chances in European. Obviously, it doesn't even matter because Saka's already scored like knockout goals, whatever. But I need him to kind of start to just, okay, you got one against Real Madrid, you should have had two. You know,
Exactly. You got one against PSG. You should have had two.
you should have had about three. You know,
Three, yeah,
you should have
exactly.
had
Yeah, well,
you should have had absolutely.
Donovan makes a crazy save,
Yeah,
but it's fair.
but this thing, and I need you to make that jump and start putting away multiple chances because you are that level. So in order for you to upgrade into that world class bracket, because listen, people can say world class this, world class. Everyone's definition of world class is different. So I think the term itself is a bit silly and reductive, in my opinion. I think let's talk about like what it matters to us individually. What we want to see from Saka is we want him to upgrade from now being that one goal, maybe one assist guy a game.
Oh, bro, how is he missing that?
It's
How is he
bad, isn't
missing that?
it?
Sorry, I'm just watching it again. I didn't mean to cut you off there, but
Fury,
holy
Fury
shit.
whips it in with incredible pace. He probably doesn't even expect Donnarumma to miss it. But again, the key thing here is again, right, Sim. What if you watch him?
How are you hitting it over like that?
If you watch him though, if you watch him again, the key thing is here is he's not balanced.
No, he's not ready for it. Yes, exactly. No, he's not. And this is the thing that we said about like the Martinelli wrapping his foot around the ball, not wrapping his foot around the ball when, and he wasn't prepared for the goalkeeper to miss it when Saka put it in the first leg, right? He got the ball over to him, and you're like, you got to score that. You have to score that because you have to be ready for it. And to your point, yeah, he's off balance. And so when the ball, even if he's getting himself into the position, he almost doesn't believe that the ball will get to him, and it does, and he doesn't reposition. Like all he needs to do is just reposition his right foot just a little bit, just so it's just slightly above the ball, and it's
This is
in.
the thing. Instead of it, exactly like just like you said, instead of the ball being hit when your foot is at this angle,
Again, yeah, exactly. Frying pan situation again, right? Just go
that's it.
boing.
Instead
Yeah,
of going bang, you just need to bang. That's it. You
yeah,
know. And
yeah.
again, he's done it, and he's jumped up at the same time on his weaker foot, admittedly, right?
Admittedly,
Admittedly on his weaker foot, but he's jumped up at the same time to try and basically get his foot on it, right? To get
yeah,
his foot on it. Well, again, it's hard because this is all millisecond stuff, right? Millisecond decisions, and
yeah.
if he's an inch taller, it's a goal.
Probably, yeah, because he doesn't need to. He doesn't need to.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's just unfortunate. And when stuff like that, and okay, I know. Let's look, right. That is the 79th minute, my
Night.
friend. Yeah, there is a good 15 minutes left for football, and trust me, we would have been on it at that point. The adrenaline you get from scoring that goal, knowing that we're opening them up, they're gonna be like, "Fuck, we keep conceding chances." They've changed. We brought Trossard on, we brought Calafiori on, and everything has changed. Like it's literally changed. The whole left-hand side. Now what we've got is we've got Trossard
New
dropping in.
configuration. Yeah,
We've got Marino floating around that area. We've got Calafiori.
Calafiori coming out on the side. Yeah,
Yeah, as in he's overlapping now.
overlapping.
We didn't have a single overlapping fullback in that, right? So Hakimi's coming in because he's following Trossard. The winger's not following, whoever it is. I don't think it was Due. It was Dembele
Definitely, yeah.
or Barcola. They're not going to follow Calafiori, and then it makes you really sit there and think, well, maybe you should have done this at half time. Maybe you
So
should
this
have.
is this is this is the thing, right? Like, and we're going back a little bit to the Bournemouth game and the Palace game and all these other games where I think his in-game management and reading the situation in front of him is poor for a manager who's been managing for 6 years now. Like, I've seen managers who've had significantly less of a tenure than he has, who can read and understand the situation better in-game situation better than he can. Like, I find that. So, for instance, Unai Emery did too much but since he's been at Villa, I think he's got better at it. He's got better at trying to affect games and to make substitutions and change the dynamic of the team in order to be able to get the results that he needs. Luis Enrique is a master at it. Actually, and this is not what you're seeing from Arteta, unfortunately. And then so, okay, you've missed that chance here. Why are you bringing on Ben White and not bringing on Waneri as well? Why are you not throwing the kitchen sink at this game? Like, you've got nothing to lose. Like,
I don't know.
if you concede again,
Who cares?
so what? Who cares?
Who cares?
I don't know if he's got some like crazy like post Wenger trauma syndrome or something where getting whipped like 5-6-0 all the time in big games has made him like just I'd rather take a 2-1 L than maybe giving myself an opportunity to be able to actually level this game. Like, it's just crazy, man. Like, you're telling me that Waneri couldn't have come on and just did something. Like, you could have given him 10 minutes and he might have been able to affect it. I would have taken off Kivior or something because who cares?
You got to throw everything. Like if you look, okay, fine. It's not really the best example because Barcelona obviously end up losing and going out. But if you look at the fucking way they were defending, they were just throwing everything at it. They were like, you know what? We are just gonna go for it. And they were about 30 seconds from going through, right? Let's be
This is
honest.
the thing. Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't think you can bemoan Hansi Flick's tactics in that situation because yeah, they scored in the 87th minute. Rafinha did. I think they just ran out of steam because
Well,
they got themselves 2-0
Jamal
down. But
Jamal's he's hit the post in the 89th minute or something like that, doing something a bit
yes,
silly. Okay, when you sit there and think, well, maybe you should have taken it to the corner, but that's not who he is, and it's never gonna be who he is, isn't
oh,
it? Not at 17.
it's also he's 17.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly, man. Like, whatever. But
you're right, man. You're completely right in the fact that like, okay, I think Timber was struggling, which makes sense because
for sure he was. Yeah, fine.
you're right. That's the
But,
perfect
but you
scenario.
still have more substitutions,
Yes,
man.
just be like,
Like,
I'm gonna go like Party can't fucking move, so I'm just gonna put Party, Saliba, and Kiwior as our back three. Put Declan
yeah,
Rice in the middle, but in front of them, and those four will marshal it, and then have Ranieri, Saka, Trossard, Marino, and a Calafiori just going in it. Like, did you not just fucking go and just do it?
Just go. Just do
And
it.
like just give it everything because again, you're right, man. I don't know, like I said, maybe it's a bit naive to say it, but you're completely correct, man. When you're sitting there and thinking like, what do we do? But then again, it's hard to say, right? Let's be honest, it's hard to say because let's say Saka scores that chance and we only need a goal. And let's say we get one, right? Let's say we get one with the same team on the pitch. Then we're going to extra time. And you don't want to completely destroy your shape with the potential that, it's not even like you're going to win the game. You have to then play another half an
No,
hour.
because of course, yeah, you've got another essentially another game within a game to play then at the
So
end of it. But
we have to maybe give him a bit of grace with that and think, you know what, maybe he's thinking, listen, because again, let's just be real. Like Saka should score, Saka should score, and then we only need one goal.
look at you, man. That's good. That's good. Sorry, that was my dad.
No, this is no.
Are you? And is that like what you should be doing now? In the no
Yeah,
booting.
to get back to walking. So like, I'm just trying, like, obviously still a bit sore, it fatigues a bit, but this is like
That's great, mate. Look at that. That's huge progress. Massive progress.
a bit difficult, but we got to
Massive
get
progress.
back there. But yeah, sorry, like we were saying, the thing is
Sorry,
like,
yeah.
if we really kind of break it down, I think we have to really understand and what, Saka should score there, man. So in reality, I do understand maybe why, but I know what you're saying. Maybe in
No,
those
but then
scenarios,
Saka doesn't score, right? He's missed, so you still have 2 goals to score. So then you actually do. You have to throw the kitchen sink at it. Like I don't. Okay, had he scored, different situation, but he didn't, and then you still have 2, 3 substitutions that you could make.
yeah.
Like fuck,
So
I'm not even against throwing Zinchenko or Sterling on.
yeah.
Whatever. Like you just do anything.
Like for example, do you think, and this is the one thing actually, and I want to just pull you back to one moment in the game, right? So Odegaard, and they didn't show this in the highlights because nothing came in really, but it was really, really good. So Odegaard turns and he spins past 2 players and then he drives past them, right? Do you remember that? Do you remember when he basically for the first time in about 2 years showed some real pace? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
did it.
Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep
Yeah,
going.
yeah. So he does it, and then you think you're coming up to the edge of the box, loads of time. Defenders are not closing you down on your left foot. Why are you not shooting, man? Like, why are you not shooting in that scenario? And instead, he passes it out to the left minorly. The whole move kind of just, it just pitters away to nothing. And I think I was sitting with a couple of guys, my friends, right? And one of my friends kept saying, and when we got in the scenarios, we have to have an action now, have to create an action now. And he's completely correct. In those scenarios, you have to create an action, be it a cross or be it a shot, or put the defense under pressure, make them defend. And when you don't do that, and when you don't allow yourself to kind of push forward in those scenarios, you really, really sell yourself short. You sell yourself short massively. And then you give the other team adrenaline to realize that, like, oh, it doesn't matter then if they go past us because then they're not going to they're not going to scare us in any way. So then that team then starts to defend a bit more on the front foot and starts to go after you a bit more because they're like, well, even if they go past us, it's fine. He's not going to shoot or he's not going to make the right pass. You need to start, even if you feel like it might not go in, you need to start working the keeper, working the defenders when you get in those scenarios, man. And that was disappointing for me. I was like, you know what? You're afraid to shoot. And that really upsets me, man. If you're not shooting in those scenarios, again, you have to ask yourself the same thing against Bournemouth. He gets the ball on the edge of the box, he fails to shoot, and then he just like falls over like a sack of potatoes. Like, I need more. But the point I'm trying to make with that is he did that. And I was sitting there towards the 85th minute thinking, like, how is Odegaard still on the pitch right now? Like, I don't think he's had a good game. He's tired. And yeah, he's there. I then thought, well, you know what? I think Arteta knows that we're probably going out now because Saka missed that chance. I don't know if he wanted them to just feel it, Like sometimes you want your players to sit there and just experience that whole thing. The final whistle going, the players celebrating. And I know it sounds stupid, but sometimes the psychological thing you get from that is when you watch a team like that celebrate in front of you and you have to sit there and walk past them and the fans going off. Sometimes it elicits a reaction in you for the next season to come back with more hunger. And I feel like some of those players needed that. They need to see what it feels like to win a game like that. And I think maybe he kept Odegaard on because he was like, listen, you're the captain of this football team and we're going out right now. So I need you to hold your head up and guide them through this, because if I take you off the ground, the best game, probably one of the best games you ever watched.
Oh no! I think where we left it until we had a guest performance from my dad. You were speaking about um just how Arteta, knew that we were probably going to lose it in the end, and he wanted the players
Yeah.
to experience that hurt, right? Just to be the cynic. How many more times do you need to get hurt before you feel hurt enough until you win something? I'm sorry, man, but Like, I'd rather we had found a way to somehow win that game by just throwing everything that we possibly could and getting some of the players who needed to come off. And actually, to your point, fair enough, like fair point. The guy looked spent. He looked crushed, and yet he's still somehow on the pitch. I bet Zinchenko would have been able to do more than he would have done in those final 10 minutes. And this is the thing, and just alluding to a little bit that little interlude with my dad coming here, he doesn't trust his players, and
Yeah,
they're his signings.
yeah.
So, and I'm just like, they're your players. You don't trust them. You knock down their value when we then have to try and resell them.
Mm,
Even like the likes of like, I don't know how much Fabio Vieira was Edu's signing versus his signing, or Albert Sambi Lokonga, because he's not Champions League standard footballer. But and again, to your point as well, you've got three players this season, three players who've all had hamstring injuries,
mm.
and that's because you're running them to the ground, man. So and if therefore, okay, yes, we were unlucky with injuries. Like it's an
Yeah, you can't get past that fact.
you can't
27 injuries.
legislate that many
Yeah,
injuries, but
27 injuries. That's like seven more than the next most team in the Premier League, which is a lot.
which is obscene. There is, and to everything that we've said, maybe that's the name of this week's pod. You make your own luck, right? And I think even with the injuries, there is an aspect of it. There is an aspect that is unlucky, but there's also a massive aspect of him not rotating the squad enough, and
It's, yeah,
not buying right. If you're not happy with the players ultimately that you have also, by the way, sanctioned to sign, like you spent £35 million on Zinchenko. I know £35 million isn't anything these days
it is. But
because
so this is an interesting thing I want to ask you about Zinchenko, actually, right? So we've seen him come on maybe like 3 or 4 times in the last like 4 or 5 weeks, maybe, yeah.
yeah, and he started a
And
couple
what?
of
Yeah,
games.
and truly, what have you thought about his performances before I say anything?
He's played left back well,
Been good.
and he's even done the midfield role
Been good.
pretty okay. He's done it
And
to a decent enough standard.
this is interesting, right? Because then this comes further to the point of let's compare two players here. Would you rather have a 70? Okay, would you rather have let's just say for argument's sake, let's just say Martinelli and Zinchenko are serviceable and changeable. Yeah, fine. Would you rather have a 70% fit Gabriel Martinelli in
Hmm.
those spaces, or a 70% fit Mikel Merino in the left eight, or a 70% fit Martin Odegaard, or would you rather have 100% fit and rested Zinchenko? Right, and I'm not saying in the big games. I'm not saying like in the Real Madrids and the PSGs, and no, I'm talking about like West Ham in the Premier League. I'm talking about
That's
Fulham
the thing. Yeah,
League,
exactly,
Bournemouth.
exactly.
So like this is the point. You need to be able to use your squad to basically say, cool, this guy right now, he's been rested. He's had about 3 games off. So now he's gonna
Exactly.
play 2 or 3 games. And then we're gonna change and rotate. And you need to be able to have differences in the way you rotate your squad and use your squad.
Especially in positions which aren't, he's not the spine of your team, right? Like a lot of people recognize that, most title winning teams, and that goes for the same in the Champions League, that's usually the spine are the players who play 60 plus games in a season. Now, the spine, interestingly, are the positions where other than like spine, you would consider number six. You can maybe say maybe one box to box eight or something could, in theory, be part of the spine as well. But usually they're the positions that actually don't run the hardest either. They're not. So it makes sense that they play that, but it also makes sense that they're actually your best players. So then, or they're the most consistent players. Whereas then the other positions, they need to have some level of interchangeability, because if you don't, you're going to cook them, and that's
You can't expect players to
you
fucking be
can't.
playing at like again, Bukayo Saka aside, yeah, because he's a fucking freak of nature, and Declan Rice aside, freak of nature. You can't expect players to be playing at like the top level every fucking game for the whole season.
Yeah,
Like you
you
have
can't.
certain players who can do that. Case in point with Liverpool, you've got Mohamed Salah, who pretty much keeps a very even level for the most season. Even then, recently he's kind of been not great, but again, they've won the league already. But Virgil van Dijk, top level the whole game. But for example, let's take Ryan Gravenberch, for example, right? Started
Hmm.
the season off fantastically, one of the best midfielders, if not the best midfielder in the Premier
In
League.
the league, yeah,
But McAllister wasn't as
no,
playing as well.
as effective, yeah, yeah,
Okay, cool. Curtis Jones not had the best start. Then Gravenberch after Christmas probably went down a little bit. McAllister just fucking started firing. And the thing is, you have different players in different positions. And even Gakpo went on a crazy run, 7 games, scored in every single game. Then wasn't playing very well. And then what does Slot do? Rotate him
I'm
out.
bringing Jota
Yeah,
or Diaz back in,
yeah.
yeah,
And this is what good managers do. Good managers understand very quickly, okay, he's exercised his top form for this little period right now. Let me sit him down for a couple of games and then I'll bring him back in.
exactly.
But we don't
100%.
do that. We
We
just
don't
let
do it.
play worse and worse and worse and get more and more and more tired. Like he should have, in my opinion, found a way to change the way we play without Odegaard as soon as he started to realize he's not having the best season. Because we did it kind of when he was out, remember? When he was out. And then the problem with Arsenal fans, and this is fucking, I don't know if it's every fucking team is who fans who do this.
Maybe we just don't pay enough attention to
Yeah,
the
but it's
discourse.
like
But yeah,
we sit there and we're like, the player who's not playing is apparently the best player in the world. So like when Odegaard's missing, it's like, oh, we're playing really shit because Odegaard's not playing.
yeah, exactly,
Oh, when
exactly.
Saka's, oh, we're playing really shit because Saka's not.
Because
No,
Saka's not playing.
it's not that. It's just a case of, you know what? All the fucking guys around him are just cooked. They're
Yeah,
just so finished.
yeah.
They're so tired, you know? And then you need this Dubai reset to go there. That happened one time and we just happened. Causation and causation doesn't mean correlation, right?
Listen, no, of course not.
Exactly. So just because two things happen at the same time does not mean they affect each other or happen because of each other. It could just be
Especially because if your sample size is one, so
one
you know what
season.
I mean. Your
Like,
sample size is one,
yeah,
and actually, what happens in this version of the sample size, which now means that both instances are anomalies. Kai Havertz goes and destroys his hamstring
that's
in the
it. He was
Dubai
training. He was
retreat.
just training.
He was just
And
training. He wasn't even playing any games. So
that's
he was
it. So
already in the red zone,
yeah.
going on a break.
And then
Um,
there needs to be a question there also about kind of the medical staff who assess these guys every day, who have all the best technology, who have all the best ultrasounds, who have all the best MRIs, and have all. And you're seeing the tendons that they have are in that sort of level because you can tell these things. You can tell when tendons are fatigued with these scans, right? They do that. I'm pretty sure they do these periodically every 6 to 12 weeks, right? They'll scan up all the players and they'll check what condition are you in right now. Like, let's see, let's have a look at your body. And I guarantee you, the people who do the scans are telling the medical staff this is yeah, it's very close here, very close to a tear here, very close.
yeah,
And the medical staff are just ignoring them. They're just saying, "Oh, fine, it'll be all right here." And then these things happen, and then who is accountable then? Who's accountable for these players having to go through surgeries and losing pace and then rehabbing? Right? There's only so many fucking hamstring injuries you can have before you
of
start losing.
course.
Look at Aaron
Yeah,
Ramsey, right?
yeah,
Fucking love the guy, but multiple hamstring injuries, especially the one that got him, basically the one that, in my opinion, meant that we lost. We didn't qualify for Champions League with Emery, and we lost the Europa League final. Was the one that fucking cooked him right before
yeah,
that
yeah.
season.
It finished
And
him.
he finished
Yeah.
us off because he was our guy. He was Emery's guy. Like you know, he was killing it. So you know, you have to sit there and ask and question yourself. Well, I know we think it may be the case of just buying a striker and just buying a left winger, but then is Arteta going to do the same thing where he thinks, oh, these guys are great. I'm not playing the rest of these fuckers anymore. So like,
But this is what going to happen, right? Let's say hypothetically, he goes and goes and sign Gyökeres, Isak, Sesko. One of them would cry tears of joy if he signed Isak, but it won't happen. But then he won't play Havertz ever again.
yeah. And it's like, oh, guess, okay, cool. So that now this 50 million pound guy like Jesus, or this 35 million pound like Zinchenko, or this fucking 65 million pound guy like Havertz, oh, I don't have any use for him anymore. Fuck him. Like it's like,
Yeah,
what
fine.
are you doing,
That's
bro?
it. Yeah,
Then you can't just keep rinsing and using players and then chucking them away.
yeah, exactly.
Be held accountable for your decisions. And this is why when people get really pissed me off when they're like, "Oh, Cronkies don't want to spend any money. They don't give them any money." Blah, blah,
Not
blah.
true.
I'm like, I'm sorry, mate. First of all, it's not
Not
true.
true.
And second
Not
of all,
true.
if a guy kept fucking wasting money on guys who a year later he doesn't want to sign, would you give him more money? I
No, I won't
wouldn't.
give him more money. That's the thing.
I'm
Yeah.
like, sorry,
So I'm
mate.
hope,
You get fucking lie in it.
and so more than anything, I hope Berta has watched these games now, and he's looking at it, and he's like, right, either there needs to be a balance here in terms of. Ultimately, Arteta's still the guy who's picking the teams every week. How does he give him a what's the dynamic of the relationship going to be where he's able to say, look, you need to play these players because
Mhm.
if you don't,
Yeah.
not only are you devaluing our investment enormously because we're not going to recoup the money for Zinchenko, we're not going to recoup the money for Fabio Vieira, we're not going to recoup the money for we might get it back for Sambi Lokonga because
Probably
he's
not.
young enough,
Probably
but
not.
probably not though. We only signed him for like 6 million anyway, or whatever it was, or 12, or whatever it was.
I was like 18. Maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, maybe. Oh, yeah. Actually, maybe even more. I'm thinking more. Maybe I'm thinking Nuno Tavares money.
Even then, we
But
fucked up.
you see how much. See how many players are just rattled off there who they have signed. They have been his guys, man.
Yeah. And also, that if you look at what they're doing in their respective leagues and their teams, they're playing
They're doing
well.
all right. Yeah, they're actually okay.
Luton last season was one of their best players. Nuno Tavares is getting fucking like statues in fucking Italy, mate, because of how fucking amazing he's playing. And we've somehow managed to fuck it and basically only get a loan obligation purchase for 8 million. When actually, if you didn't do that, you could have sold him for like 25 because he's like one of the best players in
100%.
Serie A.
Of course.
You know, like you just said, who else did you say? Fabio Vieira, who's gone back to Porto and he's playing well. Also, you forget about Mika Bireth, who basically we sold for like 1 million fucking pounds, and now he's scoring hat tricks every week for Monaco. It's like, come on, man. It's like stop fucking destroying the value of your squad so much. Like you're completely correct. Like It's just it really is frustrating. And again, we don't. I guess we're not flies on the wall, right? So we don't know why he's making these decisions. Maybe Zinchenko's fucked. Maybe he's injured. Maybe again, you can't account for Jesus doing his ACL again when he's just getting back into form and he's just
No,
starting to
that
score.
one's crazy. That's like a freak of nature situation.
Yeah, and it
Yes.
sucks. It just sucks,
Yeah,
right? And I get
happens.
it. But sometimes you need to sit there and think, well, and I think, and again, I'm not gonna. I've been like this before in my life, and I am sometimes even like this right now in my life, which is like, why is everything going against me? But sometimes you need to look back and look internally, look in the mirror, and say, no, no, what am I doing that's making
That's
this happen?
enabling the situation. Yeah,
That's it. Yeah,
exactly.
that's what
Yeah.
Arteta, I think, needs to really sit there and have a long, hard look at himself, right, this summer and say, what can I change about the way I manage this football team that stops us having key injuries and fatigue at key moments of the season? So, for example, last season, Bayern Munich, we were shot. We were shot,
It
right?
was cooked.
And then
Everybody's
Villa,
so tired.
after we were shot, and we lost our season in that week, right?
Week
And
that
then
week.
fair play to the fucking guys. They went on and won every game after that, right? Fantastic. But it's
But it
like,
still wasn't enough
it wasn't enough.
because we lost the crucial games at the wrong moment, and
Yeah.
that's the thing,
So
right?
again,
Like,
it's like why does it seem so easy for everyone else to just walk through the league, Liverpool, Man City, blah blah, but for us, it's such a big problem. And I think sometimes you need to stop thinking, well, woe is us and we're unlucky and everything's against us, and actually start thinking, well, how good really are our players? How good am I really as and not a coach now? That's what I'm saying. I'm not questioning him as a coach of a football team. So I think he's an elite coach of tactics and
yeah,
games.
from tactics. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
But what am I doing as a manager of players and people that's meaning that we're not getting over them?
No, we're not getting over the line yet. Exactly. How am I using my resources in the best way possible to be able to maximize the return on investment? And that's the thing, right? If you're talking business, are you maximizing your return on investment opportunity here? And you're not. You're not. You're
And
not.
to
You're
be fair
not.
to the guy,
Okay,
he's
Declan
created the
Rice.
value.
Yeah, sure.
He's
We got
created
him
the
half
value.
price.
He's created the
Yes.
value though, right? Like, in terms of our
Yeah,
squad
of
is
course.
now worth like one of the most valuable squads in the world, purely because again, let's be honest, Saliba he lucked out with that one. Saka he's lucked out with that one as well because they were there. Martinelli, I mean, for the most part, lucked out with that one.
Mainly played under him though.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and Emery. Declan Rice again, he's just fantastic, great signing, but it was pretty fucking obvious to everyone in the world, like that one, yeah. So, Timber,
Lewis
fantastic.
Lewis Skelly. He's got um. You know.
He takes balls to play players like that and try to. I'm not. I don't want to sit here and just constantly criticize the guy, but like what we need to really sit down, and I'm sure we'll do this in one of the later episodes once the season's over, is we'll sit there and we'll do a season review. And what I would love to do is really just get out a fucking fat whiteboard. We should do it together. I'll come over to yours. We'll get fat whiteboard out and we'll just say literally keep, unsure, sell.
Yeah. No,
That's
and
it.
you break it down, right? Yeah, exactly. You break it down. And also, what I'd love to do is just also break down some of those key games. Maybe like really go through those games well, this season now we've messed up so many games, so there's probably a catalogue that we could go through. But where we didn't utilize the squad enough before, either like prior to big injuries happening, for instance, other than the Jesus one, which felt like a freak of nature injury. I'd be curious to see if there's any actual correlation in the way in which he's, like you said, he's a great tactician. He's improved us enormously, and all of us can see that, right? Now you're getting to a stage where there's expectation, and you're getting players who are coming to the prime of their career, and so you have to win something. Like
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, like it's
You have to.
yeah, you have to win something because if not,
It helps not really play, man. And FA
yeah,
Cup's
and yeah, exactly, and so to your point, which kind of felt like the end, but I think now we can get to the end of this, which is yeah, I'm actually really proud of the players. I do think they gave it their all. I really do think that in whatever version and state that they were in, they did the best that they could with with whatever was in front of them.
I think they've been let
And
down.
I think a little bit, yeah, they have been let down. They have been let down a little bit, where they needed a little bit of help. They needed a bit of that ingenuity from the bench, and
January.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Going, bringing in
Rice
another
was
body.
begging for it, right? He's begging for it.
Yeah,
Declan was begging for it, Danny. Go sign a forward. People moved and they were let down, man. They were let
yeah,
down.
and you look at, okay, so Villa in the end they didn't make the FA Cup final. They probably might not even still not make the Champions League, one of the Champions League spots, and there's gonna be 6 English teams in the Champions League next season, which is insane.
Yeah.
But when they were looking down and out and finished, They weren't. You telling me that Asensio wouldn't have been able to do something for us? You telling me that Marcus Rashford, like what,
Well,
like?
that's an issue. The Marcus Rashford thing is poor planning because we couldn't even sign him on loan because of we used it
But
up on Neto like an
But you
idiot.
know what I mean? Neto or even Sterling. Like, if you don't back Sterling as your guy, yeah,
Yeah.
and you make out that you're Mr. Ruthless, that
Mm,
it's the AFOGing standards, right?
yeah.
If he's not meeting your AFOGing standards, you terminate his loan and bring in Rashford. You telling me that Rashford wouldn't come to Arsenal before coming to Aston Villa?
Money. Yeah, I think
You know what I mean?
it's probably a bit more complicated than that, but it's probably a money thing. Probably the termination fee for his loan would be quite high, and then his
But you think what you're banking on here? Like, actually, if you look at where we were at that point in the season, you were within touching distance
yeah,
of Liverpool.
we weren't touching distance at Liverpool. It was about 7 points, but it was that's it was like it wasn't that much.
But they're not.
They
They've dropped that
drew
many points. Yeah,
yeah, they
exactly,
drew last game,
exactly,
so we had the
exactly.
chance.
So, and
Yeah,
and that's the thing, right? And that's the issue. Like, I think if there's has been any negative feedback, and from, let's say, people who aren't fans of Arsenal, who don't watch them as religiously as we do, but they can see very clearly that, yeah, you're a bunch of bottlers because you don't take the necessary step
yeah,
that's gonna win you the thing.
because you're scared of failing, right? Because you're scared of it, and
Yeah.
then you fail anyway,
Yeah,
right?
you're not going to fail. It's like what you said, right? It's doing the same thing over and over again and expecting
I
different
think
results.
I think last season, again, just to wrap it up before and I'm sure we'll talk after Sunday as well. I'll ask you a quick question before we go, but I think last season you could sit there and say, well, took it to the last game of the season, done really well. Champions League quarterfinal, maybe just a bit of a step far ahead for us there. We lost it in the home game, and I think ultimately we could admit we lacked firepower. Again, to then not go and sign a striker in the summer. What one thing I will say about signings and forwards and strikers is that I don't think anyone really went for anyone in the summer. There was a weird FFP thing going on where
There was a bit of a hangover of it.
Liverpool didn't sign anyone. We basically signed like a few defenders. Like I don't think there were many big forwards moving in my opinion.
We made sales in order to facilitate those signings
So
as
I
well,
get it,
right?
right? So I get it.
Yeah,
January,
yeah, yeah.
no use in my opinion. So that's an issue. So now you can sit there and say, well, cool. You now have an opportunity to understand where we're at. So we know, I think we can all sit here and say we know what we're missing and we know what we need. So now if you don't go and do those things in the summer, then there's going to be a big problem. So I think we're going to have to, I mean, listen, it's an exciting time to be an Arsenal fan. No matter what anyone says, no matter what
No,
anyone
no, we're still on an upward trajectory, and
yeah,
there's
it's an
nothing.
exciting
There's
time to be
there's
an Arsenal fan, and I
yeah,
think
yeah.
it's sad and it's really funny because I was talking to Sim because she was, she really, really got involved in this tie, like really, really kind of felt it. She was upset, man. Like she was fucking.
The
She
pain.
was, yeah, she really. That's how you know when someone becomes a football fan. When you
Yeah,
look
it's
over to them,
pain.
you see that pain, man. You see that like she's deflated, like she's just her whole fucking next until August is ruined. Like she's just done. Like,
You
and
know,
I
you know that moment in The Simpsons where Lisa tells
Ralph,
Ralph, yeah, tells
yeah,
Ralph that
I
she
should
doesn't she
choose
doesn't
you. Yeah, that bit. Yeah.
yeah, I don't choose you, man. And you just like, and then Bart like literally like, oh, this is the moment his heart
Yeah,
like pauses where his heart breaks, going like this, and then
mate.
that's it. That's the quintessential pain, and nothing. Simpsons captures everything perfectly. That is what it's like
That
being
is
a
it.
football fan
Yeah, and I think
and being an Arsenal
I
fan.
said to her, listen, she was like, she goes, is this what it's like? Is this what being a real football fan is like? And I was like, being an Arsenal fan, yeah. I was like,
Yeah, yeah.
is it you? She goes, this is not fun. This fucking just hurts, right? And I was like, it does until you do the thing you're destined to do until we get to that mountaintop, and then when you get there, it will be the most ecstasy sort of feeling you'll ever have, and it will only be because of the moments like this. You know,
Yeah, of course. You
it
have
will
to go through
only
the pain in order
you
to be
have
able
to
to
go through
enjoy it.
years of getting closer and closer and closer. And Arteta said something really, really interesting about Marquinhos. He said 11 times he's been to the Champions League around this stage, and 11 times he's failed, right? And now he's going to the final again, right? And he still might not win. And he goes, and that's what you need to tell these players, like. You're upset today, and I get it, but you need to keep going because players will. You have to understand this is a career. This is not a one
And it's
year
a very
thing.
short career as well, right?
Yeah,
It's a super short career.
11 times he's been in the Champions League and 11 times he's failed. Who knows? Again, I hope PSG win the final
Yes.
purely, and it's purely because I have the utmost respect and sympathy for Luis Enrique after what's happened to his daughter. Like no parent should ever have to experience something like that. So for him to be able to kind of like do that for his daughter, would be just amazing. On top of that, Inter have lost in the final recently. Put it this way, I'm a neutral, but if PSG were to win it, it'd make me quite happy for Enrique, you know. So hopefully he does get it. And then, you know, you see then guys like that will sit there and think, you know what, 11 times I failed, 11 times I was in tears, 11 times I but I got it. And it's the same thing with Thiago Silva with Chelsea, right?
Yeah.
He failed and failed and failed and failed, and then he got it. That will sit there and he'll sit there, you know, talking to his grandkids and say, you know what, it was all worth it, man. All
Yeah,
those,
and no one can ever take it away from you, right? And that's
yeah,
it. So, and that's what we need to turn. That's what we need as a football club, I think, and especially like at the Emirates as well. Like, no one can ever take that night away from me and everybody else who was there at the Real Madrid game.
that's it. No one, it
You
doesn't
know,
matter what Chelsea fans got to say. It doesn't matter what Liverpool fans got to say. It don't
no,
matter.
exactly. That's your thing,
Yeah,
right?
I don't care
Now,
about your Mickey Mouse Europa League final, bro. Like, no one gives a fuck about the
no
shittest
one
Europa
cares,
League
man.
in history. It's literally the shittest one in history.
Like,
No
look,
Champions League teams have dropped down.
no, none. It's the most B-Tech version of a Europa League you
You,
could
you,
possibly
you have
ever had.
you
Yes.
have like a combined fucking 37 losses in the league between you. Like nobody cares about
How
that.
like and the fact is Bodo Glimt made it to the semi-final. Like no, like props to them, but that just tells you everything about the state of the Europa League as well. But anyway, digressing hard. Like it's not about them, even if it's about us, right? Like I'm just saying, like the difference in feeling that it would have been. You're like as it was with that game against Barcelona and Wilshere tore up Xavi and Iniesta and Arshavin scored or whatever. That memory was fantastic, but it was always be tainted because of the fact that we actually lost the second leg. We lost the next leg. And the same principle goes with now, I guess, whilst we beat Real Madrid across those both legs, and I think it's definitely will be better than
Much better.
that
Much
Barca.
better.
It is much better, but you want to take that feeling and now you want to go and crown it with like a game like that almost deserved a Champions League for it. You know
Does,
what I
but it can
mean?
also be
But
standalone. Though. It can also be standalone
it
because
can, it can, it
the
can, it
Declan
can.
Rice
But
stuff and the Real Madrid tie. Okay, let's say we win the PSG tie, right? And we go through. No one's probably going to start talking about the Declan Rice stuff anymore. We're talking about the PSG tie, and then let's say you go and win the final. You don't then start. You only then when you really reminisce about everything, you go back to
exactly, that's what I'm saying.
yeah, but
That's the thing.
you can't again. Listen, you won the
Yeah,
tie, man. You came up against a
yeah.
European fucking giant and you won the tie. That's what matters. I get it. We want to win things, but you're not unless you're fucking Real Madrid. You're not going to win the Champions League every season. So if you're telling me that every single time you beat a good team in the Champions League, you're not
Oh
actually
no,
going to
you expected to win it? Nah, of
yeah,
course not,
no,
of course not.
it's
But
not how it goes.
I
It,
think all I'm saying is I feel it because you're
mm,
like I wish we could crown that moment, because all of those because they deserve it, and now hopefully that's to your point earlier, and maybe that's what Arteta's trying to get at is that he wants them to feel that pain, but you can only go through it so many times until you start asking a question like how many times do you need to feel the pain in order for you to be able to
we'll
then
see.
act upon
We'll
it
see.
and do something. We'll see.
Like I said, just before we go, and then again, we'll have this conversation towards the end of the season. Um, I'm not even going to say it. I'll talk about it after. Um, quick before you go.
Liverpool.
Yeah, what do you think? Score prediction.
I actually think ironically we'll beat them. I think
Yeah,
we'll beat.
we said
It'll
this.
be
It's
it's so
typical
it's,
Potter
it's so
man.
it's so peak, man. Like, well, they'll play some like half. Like, maybe they'll just humor us and want to go for a bit of a stronger team.
I think they want to batter us, man. They'll want to
No,
batter.
of course they'll want to, but
That's whatever, man. That's a respect. In my opinion, that's a respect thing. Like you do it because you respect the fact that these men have smashed it before the last game of the season. So you yeah. I think it'll be, I think it'll be the most. Arteta, nah, probably because he's not gonna wanna lose. But I think it'll be the most boring 1-1 in the world. Like it'll just be so. Let's have a look. Yeah, well, yeah, man. I mean, what I want to talk about is uh, the rest of the season on Sunday. Like after Sunday, we'll talk about it, because hopefully, if you can, it'd be nice to go to the Newcastle game, the last game of the season. They deserve it, man. The boys deserve it. I don't care if we're disappointed. I don't care if we're hurt. They deserve for us to clap them off that pitch. when he, sorry, man. I don't know if you, I don't know if the mic just picked out when he just farted. So it just cracked me. Oh, sorry. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Oh, internet's a bit. One second, my internet's a bit. Can you hear me now? Hello? Yeah, I don't know. My internet. You know what? I was laughing because when he just farted, so it was hilarious. I don't know. He just farted. She does this thing where when she stands up to look at something, right? Her butt cheeks just squeeze together and just forces farts out, and it was so funny. She's like, and it's like it's so funny, it's so cute, but it's also so disgusting. So, but yeah, cool, man. Well, I'll edit this to get rid of the bit that your dad walked in, and because obviously, you know what, it was a good discussion, but because you had one earphone over there, that's the mic earphone, so he no, you had the mic, so I couldn't hear him. He came next to him. Nah, nah, I just clocked. It doesn't work that way because every time you walked away, he would get quieter and quieter, and then you would like do stuff. Because when you were fixing something over there with you were picking something up, and all I could hear, yeah. So yeah, but I'll try and edit it out because then it'll get to about an hour and a half. But a few of my friends are really looking forward to hearing this one, so I will edit that out and we'll go. Let's go. Cool. All right, I will stop that here. No, I've got physio tomorrow. Then I've got to sort some stuff out with mum and Sonny, and then that's it really. I've got next week I'm in Birmingham because I've got the dental conference for my business, so that'll be good. Just gonna do some rehab really for my calf now, and then just have some dinner. So, what about you? I'm not sure. You know, I'm not sure because I think yeah, I'm not sure. I think 'cause there's a lot of stuff going on in India and Pakistan right now, so I'm not sure if they delayed their flight. Yeah, I'm not sure, man. So I need to. I'm gonna call them today actually and see what's going on. But they weren't planning on coming back until the 22nd anyway, so it was like it was a while. So all right, yeah, see you in a bit. All right, see you in a bit. Bye.